How you doing, everybody? This is once again DS Lyons from the movie Blues, and today we're going to be looking at Hanukkah on Rye.
Oh? Okay, don't get all excited.
And before we get started, it's critical that we go over three things. The first is that Bubby and Zeta means grandma and grandpa in Yiddish. The second is that a latke is like a hash brown you would get at McDonald's, but in the shape of a yarmulke, that little hat that Jews wear. And the third is, I'm Jewish. Sorry. And okay, all right, bonus, the fourth, I am not Seth Rogen's character from The Night Before. Like, that is not me. I'm me. Fuck. Anyway, let's talk about Hanukkah on Rye, a Hallmark movie made by Jews for Jews. It's amazing that the first couple seconds of a movie can truly bum me out this quickly. Christmas music makes you feel all warm and cozy, makes you feel like you're surrounded by family. Jewish music is not Hanukkah specific. I mean, you could just play this music and show a picture of Steven Spielberg and it would work the same way. But it's also just so sad and old-timey. I feel like a character from Fiddler on the Roof shuffling through a Jewish ghetto during wartime when I hear this shit. And so we introduce the first of two rival delis in this motion picture, Gilbert's. This is Molly, heir apparent to the deli, as she's being lectured by her bubbies about how this Hanukkah, they need to be more prepared than ever for their exclusive clientele.
Yeah, they break even and we make a profit, and this year we're a little further from even than we'd like.
Meanwhile, Molly's Zeta Stan is trying out his Temu Rodney Dangerfield impression.
They thought the latkes would only last for one night, but they lasted for 8. Get it, Ruth? Oh, Hanukkah? 8 nights?
I'm gonna have to see this guy's Jew card. I mean, typically we are a lot funnier than this.
Is this on?
Anyway, here's something I thought I would never see, Jewish B-roll stock footage to cut in between scenes. This is the kind of footage a hunter would play to lure a Jew into a trap or a cage or something.
We're going to hunt the Jew.
Next, we move from New York to LA, where we meet our rival deli owner, Jacob, as he prepares to buy a New York location after the lifelong success of his deli, Zimmer's.
It's a lot of red tape opening a new location.
Nobody knows this business better than I do.
So Jacob heads to New York to scout out a new location for Zimmer's, and immediately bumps into Molly in the mailroom of his rental property where he'll be staying during his trip. And I don't want to be overly judgmental, especially on the holidays, but my man Jacob doesn't really feel Jewish. He feels more closeted gay.
You sure you don't want me to come with you to New York?
Do you think that you need to?
It's not a safe neighborhood or something?
No.
Not really buying it, Jake.
I'm actually a really nice guy.
We'll see.
No.
Honestly, I don't think Molly is buying it either.
You're not my type.
Oh, okay, what's your type?
Men who can open a mailbox without help.
Next up, Molly and Jacob get lectured by their respective bubbies over their lack of spouses and children to carry on the deli legacy.
What good is the business if there's no one to give it to? It doesn't hurt that you're in the promised land for nice Jewish girls.
What a stupid, dated stereotype this is. Oh shit, my wife is from New York.
I don't have trouble meeting women.
Or men. So both of their bubbies hatch a scheme to use a Jewish matchmaker, which, of course, hooks up both of our deli owners anonymously as potential matches with one another.
You sneaky, sneaky Bobby.
At last, we reach our first scene of pure fiction in this movie, as a group of people gather in a public square to sing Hanukkah songs. First of all, this is Christmas-coded behavior. Jews don't go around caroling prayers. Second of all, I don't care if you're in New York or not, we don't gather to sing prayers in a park because it would probably lead to a massive hate crime. And we also hate being outside. In 2024, being proud and publicly Jewish is about as rare and dangerous as being publicly straight, white, and male. So not this guy, then.
I hate ranch dressing that comes from a bottle, and I judge harshly any restaurant who uses it instead of making their own.
Why are you gay?
So our two lovebirds meet up at the public menorah lighting that never happens in reality and begin to kick it off, awkward Jewish style.
Well,
Happy Hanukkah. Okay.
So Molly and Jacob begin writing each other through the matchmaking service. And as Molly narrates her letter, you really get a load of her bizarre accent in this movie.
Thanks for your honesty. And I'm not upset. I'm relieved. Poor matchmaker, though. She has no idea we're about to ruin her perfect record.
I looked it up after the fact, and it turns out that this actress is French and Israeli. So she spends the runtime of the movie suppressing those accents while trying to do some sort of New York accent. It's too damn much.
I have this tendency of staying with guys for way longer than I should.
This is is how I talk in my accent. There is a different inflection on every other word, and it hurts my brain.
I'm only doing this for my bubby, too.
Like, it's fine. They cast an Israeli actress. I mean, good for them. But they establish very firmly in this movie that she is a third-generation born New Yorker. And she talks like this.
Well, feel free to leave a good review online. Most of our clientele are still printing out PDFs and sending them to their grandkids through the mail.
I need you to give me the stone. You're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger.
Back at the deli, Molly fills her family in on the juicy details of her pen pal relationship. And I am nearly positive that the director of this movie told Mom and Bubby to just make the most Jewish-sounding noises they could possibly muster.
When are you going to write him back? Oh, I already did. Oh?
Aha.
That's
Only matzo balls.
Later that night, Molly and the deli are hosting another absolute future scene of a hate crime. A massive Hanukkah party with a Hanukkah song contest. Jacob is in attendance, not because of the pen pal thing, which is anonymous, but because he is legitimately becoming close to Molly in real life at the same time, without knowing it's the girl from his letters. And okay, I don't want to get too far out in the weeds here about ranch dressing, but this grown-ass man is handed a full meal and then asks Molly's family if they make their ranch in-house.
Try it with the ranch.
This is made in house.
Now at this point, Molly already received the anonymous matchmaker letter from Jacob, and in that letter he wrote that one of his 3 largest pet peeves in all existence is when people don't make ranch in-house.
I hate ranch dressing that comes from a bottle.
And literally sitting across from this handsome punum as he starts autistically screeching about ranch literally 24 hours after she read his letter, and she doesn't immediately realize that this is the same guy. This is some Clark Kent wearing glasses levels of non-recognition. I mean, for Christ's sakes, how did this grown woman who manages a small business not put this together? So the Hanukkah song contest kicks off, and what in the editing is this cut? Yeah, let's just show Bubby and Zeta extremely sad for 1 second. I think that would be great. So the Hanukkah song contest kicks off, and
Hanukkah! Hanukkah!
Hanukkah's here, and we can't agree if it starts with an H or it starts with a C. But the only thing that really matters to me is jelly donuts.
Are you retarded?
And then Lisa Loeb, imagine her backstage watching these openers though, huge career drop-off from being on the VH1 Countdown, and I mean in real life and in the fictional context of this movie being in a random diner.
You say... At least maybe less heartbroken.
Later that night, Jacob's friend from California somehow recognizes him entirely blindly from behind. And this exposes Jacob for being in town to actually open a rival deli, something that he has not told Molly yet.
You scoping out the competition?
What does he mean, the competition?
So this is why you've been snooping around ordering all that food? Unbelievable.
I'm actually curious about how this movie is doing its third act romantic comedy characters breaking up moment 33 minutes into the movie. I no longer know where this movie is going. Molly's already giving Jake the cold shoulder in the mailroom later that night, which leads to sadly the most accurately Jewish 15 seconds of the entire movie.
You know why I believe in God? Because every time I'm a little down, I get some kind of sign that makes me think that someone up there is watching out for me.
You had to know. You had to know what you were doing here, guys. You had to know.
So we have many Jews that cause a lot of the one who like the money.
Next, thanks to the nosiest fucking doorman in history, Jacob discovers that Molly Spiegelman is in fact the fictional Beth from her letters. So Molly writes David a letter proposing that they finally meet over lunch. And you would think that the day of the lunch, Jacob would be cool about knowing that Molly is actually Beth. But he is for sure digging the hole as deep as he possibly can.
You look beautiful. Taking a risk with the high heels, though. What if the guy's like 5 feet tall? What if he shows up looking like a bridge troll? What if he, looks just like me? Your fate awaits.
I know Jewish women, man, and you are never going to recover from this level of tomfoolery. You're gonna have the same level of trust issues as the average couple on 90 Day Fiancé after this.
She's gonna hate you for not telling her sooner, but...
The doorman Thomas is the based warrior of this motion picture. Congrats, dude. So not only does Jake keep upping the stakes around revealing himself, but he ends up standing Molly up for lunch as well. Apparently, she appreciates being stood up.
I have to thank you because now I finally know what I want. I wish you nothing but the best.
And so Molly realizes that Jacob is actually the right man for her after he treats her like dog water and gaslights her into believing this was how it was all supposed to roll out.
And if I had another good luck penny to give you, I would. I'd give you 1,000,000 of them.
Decided not to meet David after all.
Why not?
Guess I saw the light.
I see what you did there. Nice.
And so Molly breaks up with pen pal Jacob for regular Jacob.
She broke up with me. She wants to be with me.
Look, I didn't meet David today. It ended up being the best thing that could have happened.
Yep, this girl's gonna need a goddamn therapist. So David gaslights his girl, lies to her, leads her on, sends her to lunch across town by herself, and then stiffs her. And then on top of it all, Jacob finally buys the rival deli location down the street.
All I could think about was you.
We're opening Zimmer's East in the spring.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
This guy sucks, but at least he comes clean.
I need to tell you.
Oh my God, the linchpin of this Jewish romantic comedy is a penny. We did this. I feel like I somehow am at fault here. I am sorry.
This isn't about the deli anymore. This is about trust. That's gone.
Oh my God, dude, I told you. The doorman told you.
She's gonna hate you for not telling her sooner, but
This girl's gonna have a fucking air tag on you for the rest of your miserable lives together. Jacob's entire family shows up to Gilbert's for some kind of latke making contest. I'm not sure how or where this was proposed, but I'm doing my best here. Yada, yada, yada. The families have their Battle of the Bubby latke making contest. And just like a hot little pro-Jew tip here, these latkes look painfully average. They just don't look fried right. They're just too thick and sad looking. Anyway, through some highly convoluted Jewish geography, Jacob and Molly realize that their latke recipes are actually identical. And I don't mean they taste similar in the way that all Jewish food tastes similar, because it's all bland and made with cheap ingredients and a desperate lack of seasoning. I mean, literally, this is the same recipe because their bubbies once shared an apartment after arriving from Ellis Island or something. Okay, this would be immediate grounds for me to do a 23andMe on this woman and make sure that we are not cousins. And instead, this is the linchpin that convinces them that they are a match made in Jewish heaven.
It doesn't matter if we're Beth and David or Molly and Jacob. We're soulmates.
We'll flip a coin. Anyone have one?
Oh.
Actually,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really quite sorry that I picked this movie. It was exhausting. This is for a really sad Jewish wine mom. It's not for me. I am far too cynical about religion in general to get any kind of enjoyment from a piece of content like this, but I hope that in watching it, I have provided you some fun content, and I needed a reason to wear this sweater because I'm not going to any actual Hanukkah parties. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today, guys. If you want more Hallmark holiday content, make sure to check out the full holiday special with 4 Hallmark movies on my channel below. Check it out. Me and Adam from Review Bomb had a lot of fun putting this one together. So yeah, watch the whole video, check out his channel, check out more of my videos on my channel. Bye!
Cause I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I've seen all your movies, and I love your movies, and I think you're the best.